Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. So today we're going to be working on a Fiesta again, obviously, because that's how I left it on the last one. And I've actually had quite a few goodies turn up from eBay this week. So unfortunately I didn't get the drive belt for the car, and I didn't get the inlet manifold PCV pipe as well, which obviously the main bits that I need to put everything back together to get the car running. However, I have noticed a couple of bits of rust over here on underneath the battery tray, which I think is a common problem on most Fords. Rust is a common problem on most Fords, let's be honest. I've treated some rust over here, which I'll show you. I can't remember if I showed you it in the last video, but I've treated that and I've painted it. Very rough, but again, it's like the engine bay, no one's ever going to see it. And then today I'm going to show you the bits that I have bought for the car to go on the front end to sort of tidy up a bit. I'm not really going to show you how to fit them because most of them are just sort of clips or bits and pieces that go on the car. We are going to clean up the main engine bay as well with some brake cleaner. Anyway, let me show you the car and I'll show you what I mean. Right, so this is what we're facing. Now, obviously I've taken the manifold off on the last video. We need to change the pipe on it, but that's not arrived. Air filter looking a bit sorry for itself. I'll put that back on, we'll deal with that another day. I've had some rust spots that were here. You can probably see them on the video, they are still there, but I've used cure rust here and I've sort of painted over it, as you can see. I'll wipe all this off, well hopefully it comes off. But the coolant bottle should cover most of it anyway. Obviously it's still crusty all up here, but again, I'm not going for a concourse car here. Point your attention to the battery tray holder, or this bracket is the battery tray holder. Vial, that is rusted the whole way through there, so I'm probably going to look at getting another one. However, I think it's all kind of welded onto the car, so I'm not too sure. So I think I'm going to treat it with some cure rust today, get something on it just to make it look a bit prettier. Well, not even pretty, just cure rust it so it's protected. So obviously look, you've got earthing points down here that need a good sort of contact surface. This one was dirty and filthy, and I've kind of sprayed lightly here just to sort of clean it up a bit. And then we've just been cleaning boring bits like here. I'm not going to bother about the arms. But the main bit is the engine bay here. I have noticed that there is oil leaking from the pump, the power steering pump. I've cleaned all that off with brake cleaner and it's quite blatantly come back. I think there's a crack in the actual pump, so new pump required, because then the belt's here. It sprays this way onto the car, and as you can see, the whole front of my car is just covered in power steering fluid like here. It's actually caked. So I kind of want to try and wash some of that off where I can. And then I've got a new coolant tank because that was split. I'll insert the clip for you now just to show you what that looked like. So yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to get done on the car today. It's all going to be like little bits and pieces here and here, but it's obviously going to be, the final result will be the next video when I've got the parts, so I can put this back on, the drive belt back on, this contraption back on, every single little clip and cable back on. I can't remember where most of them go, but we'll work that one out as and when we do it. So yeah, let's get cracking and let's see what we can achieve. Right, so I'm quickly going to show you some of the bits I have done to the car. So everyone loves a bit of carbon in the car, right? Give this video a like if you like carbon in your car. However, no one likes carbon in their car. So this is the throttle body. Now, obviously it looks clean. This was absolutely caked in carbon build-up. You can still see some there. There's a little bit there. I'm not really worried too much about getting rid of all of it. Now, if anyone's got a Fiesta ST150, and I hope you do, does this noise sound familiar? I think that sounds okay. But I don't know, I'm used to a different one, so I wasn't sure if that sounded right. However, I've cleaned that up and I've also bought a new gasket for it, because this had an old gasket with a bit of sealant around it for whatever reason. So I'll show you that. So this is the gasket, there's the part number. Take a screenshot if you need it. Let's see if it fits. It should do. So this is for an ST150 on eBay. So I was going to try and clean the old one up, but I just thought, you know what, sod it, just get new. So it should just sit in there a bit nicer. Beautiful. I think that's going to fit. So you should see there, it's a bit hard because I've done it on a green background, but there is a small lip where the gasket should sort of sit proud. So when you've got that, then you know that that's sort of a good one, and that'll give a nice tight seal when back on the inlet manifold. So there, job number one. I've bought two of those grommets that you stick on top of the front struts to stop water leaking in, so I'll fit those in a minute. Nice easy job. So I've also got this, there's the part number for it. It's the grommet that holds your bonnet state in. So mine just keeps popping out. I think it's just got weak over time. They're 20 years old. So I've got a new one of those just to hold the bonnet in. I'll show you that as well. I've got new inlet manifold gaskets. Now I don't know if these are original. It says they are, but they just don't look, they look too green if you ask me. They're probably the right ones. I'll test them on the inlet manifold when we come to fit it. but I bought 4 new ones of those just because obviously my old ones are old and crusty. And then we've got these. Now these, again, these are not from Ford. I'm hoping these work. They are for a Ford Transit or a C-Max or a Fiesta, it said, and it's the bonnet clip, so I'm missing about 2 or 3 on mine. So these will get my bumper fitted to the car a little bit nicer, but we'll cross that bridge when we put the bumper on in the next video. Right, I'll fit these quickly and I'll show you. So up here, if you own a Fiesta, you'll know that this tends to fill up with water if you ever clean the engine bay, and I think these things are just rubbish and leak. So apparently, I should be able to put that in there. It's not the snuggest of fits, but that fits in there. Let's try the other side. So here's the other side. Obviously I've got parts of the engine bay at the minute. I think that's going to fit in better because it's got more of a lip to catch onto. Oh, and also I just worked out that the battery, this battery tray here does come out, so you can see it soaking. There's a bolt here, there's a stubborn bolt just up here. I'm going to take it off and hopefully this should just lift up, and then I'll try and clean it up so I can get to all this rust down here and at least treat it for now. I'm not going to do like a full restoration on it just yet because it's just my daily car. However, something to do in the future hopefully. They're not the nicest, but it's a good fit. I'm going to have to do the other side with both hands, but you have to fit it around the metal rim around there, but that's pretty decent. That should just keep the water out. Yeah, and that's that side, but you've got this like plate here, bracket. So I'll mess around with that and get that one fitted. And then next I think we'll attempt this. Probably going to be a disaster, but we'll see. Right, 100% you need 2 hands for this. So I'm hoping that literally that just falls out. That doesn't even click in there. Don't even click in there anymore. So I'm hoping take the old one off. This drops, I'm in trouble. I bet the old one don't even want to come off now. There you go. So you just kind of twist it off. Yeah, because it's brand new. Needs a bit of force. So hopefully, make sure that goes in there. Wiggle that in there. Ah, wonderful. Now that is a small win. Okay, so for this part down here, I'm going to take this off. I'm not going to bore you with what I'm doing. I'm going to rub it down with a wire brush. Like so. One of these. Bit of cure rust on there. Let it go off overnight. Put it back on. Sort out this crusty area here as much as I can. This is going to need a whole heap of work doing it to it there. But if I can prevent some now, then we'll probably be good for a couple of years. Probably, who knows. But I want to clean up that, but I'm not going to film that because my camera run out of time. So let me do that and then I'll come back to you and I'll show you what it looks like. Right, so desperate times call for desperate measures. Cure rust. Now basically all I've done there is roughed it all up as much as I can, all the way to the back, down here. Underneath, around, this bolt is not coming out and it's going to snap. So I do not want this one to snap. Doing it in situ here. I'm going to look at buying a new one of these just to replace it. When I take that off, I can then drop the gearbox mount and sort out the surrounding area good and proper. But for now, this is like a temporary fix just to turn any rust into metal. More of a preventative maintenance. This whole area here needs a good like sort of clean up, but that's not my job for this time round. Next job, coolant tank to go in here. So, and this is the new one from Ford. Now, you need to make sure, I'll show you the part number. That's the part number required. And this is brand new. Oh, I say brand new, it's 20 years old, so it might even have some cracks in it from factory because it is that old. I'm hoping not, obviously. But you need to make sure you've got the right one because you get the 2 overflow pipes here. And obviously, you've got this pipe here. That cap, we get rid of that. Open this. And in here should be a brand new radiator cap from Ford. Part number there if you need it, but that basically is a new replacement for my old one because again my old one's 20 years old. These do have a bit of a life expectancy. They've got the pressure release valve in there, so you may as well get this changed while you're at it. Only about 14 quid. So basically take this bolt back out, move these wires back round here for the moment. These are me, I'll work that bit out in a minute. There for my lights. And it should be a case of you just sort of slot this back in over the little clip at the back. Oh, get your finger trapped, that hurt. Put the bolt in. Take the sticker off nicely. Obviously you're not going to come out nice. And at least we've got the coolant tank on there. I need to do the bolt, I'll do that in a minute. Brand new cap, probably won't fit, let's try it. Well, it fits, wonderful. Yeah, so on these there's a little clip down here, you just sort of slide that bit down here. Don't have your fingers in this area because you will trap them like I just did. Got your 10mm I think, or an 8mm bolt here, do that down. Obviously I've got the pipes to connect up that are all sort of hanging around here, and the water pipes on here somewhere. But obviously I can't connect them all up yet until this is all sort of back in place and sort of sitting there. So that's going to be in the next video. That's going to be in the next video, getting that sorted out. What I'm going to do now is give this a right good sort of clean up. So I'll try and give you a before and after. Probably not going to look amazing, but you can see down there the amount of filth and grime that's sort of collected over the years on here. All the power steering fluid here. Now it's kind of probably a bit of a wasted exercise because that's leaking, so I need a new one of those. In fact, I might try and order one of those. So I've got to take the belt off again, haven't I? However, I'd need to get the car back on the road, and I think you can kind of do that with it all back together. I don't know. Worst case, I know how to do this, I can just do this again. But we'll clean all this off now, and hopefully this all goes back sort of nice. It's not going to be mint. I'm not expecting it to be mint. I don't even want it to be mint. Just want it to look sort of half decent again. And because it smells of oil when you're driving, obviously the fan gets hot, rad gets hot, and any oil there, you can kind of smell in the car when it's sort of coming off of here. So anyway, blah, 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 let's clean it. Right, well that's been a fun evening. So I'll show you what I've done to the car. I think we've got a problem with the cure rust. I've put the old cure rust in a paint which may have or may not have had some paint in it, which has kind of reacted with the cure rust over the last couple of days. So you can see I put it on here and it's not done much, and here it's not drying. So I'm going to dry that off, do it again tomorrow. So it doesn't look like much, but I've actually replaced the def clips you get from Ford with Jubilee clips. Brake cleanered all of the pipes along here, all along the back. Little bits in here in the engine. You're not really going to see it, so I don't care too much. I've made sure I get all of the power steering fluid off of all these pipes because it stinks. And then I should be able to see where it's leaking from, hopefully. This weird little bracket here leaks. Well, it's got old power steering fluid in there. I think it's leaking from here somewhere, so I'm probably going to have to change this. Now, I know, listen, I know it makes sense. Well, I got it all to bits, change the pump. However, I've been driving the car for ages with this problem. I haven't got the time. I need this car back on the road, so I'm going to put it all back together when I get the manifold pipe and the belt. The belt's easy enough to take off, just to take this pump off. I may have to move the front end. Again, I can do that pretty quickly now. I know how. I did attempt to clean all this up, but it is just filth. Like, it doesn't matter what you do with this, brake cleaner, nothing cleans it up. So it probably needs a paint, but we're not going to bother with that. And I've tried to sort of clean up some of these pipes here. They will get a better clean up again because I can't be bothered tonight, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to try and get all of this back together tomorrow, as long as them parts turn up. I mean, look, as well, I did attempt to clean here, but you can see it's kind of cleaned it off a bit better. But I'm going to do all that tomorrow as well. I'm going to get some stronger cleaner, try and clean up that a bit more. But I mean, I could be there for hours doing this, and it's just the car at the end of the day. I also cleaned up the manifold here. Give it a week, that'll be a dirt again, so almost a pointless exercise, but it does look good going back on the car. Right, so I try and keep these videos short and sweet where I can. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please consider subscribing to the channel. There'll be another video following this one where I'm hopefully putting it all back together, and then we'll start it up and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no water leaks out of everywhere, but if it does, we can address it, tighten it all up, be fine. When I do get round to doing the battery tray, I will show you how I've done it. I won't, it's just cure rust. I'm going to cure rust it and paint it, or buy a new one if I can get that bolt out, but it's going to snap 100%. It's soaking in WD-40, so hopefully I can get that out anyway. But if not, then we'll just cure rust everything, paint everything, big jobs are good un. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry you haven't learned anything really, but I'm just trying to get this video out there just so I can get this car sorted. Anyway, as I always say, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumb down. Either way, don't care, it helps me in the algorithm. And I'll catch you in the next one.